Howdy folks, TechTexN here bringing you Life is Feudal. And it's been a while since I created a video, and I have been entirely busy doing so many things. And as you can see, they now have lovely weather effects in the game. I've been meaning to do a tutorial series for a while, but I've been quite busy lately. I had just finished moving to a new place and getting settled in, and there's just been a lot of other things going on, so I kind of had to put a lot of things on hold, but I still wanted to do these tutorial videos for getting started and being able to do a few other things, because a lot of people that jump into this game, they get a little lost and they're not sure what to do. So as you can see, I just jumped in with a brand new character. I just created my own server, local server, so I can have some admin rights to kind of speed up the process for future videos. But yes, you get dropped in, you really don't have anything. Well, if you hit the I key on your keyboard, you do get to see your inventory, and you do actually have some clothes, a little bit of food to go by, but we'll find some more right away. Now, some of the things that you want to start off early on is understanding first that you have a skill tree that you need to level up. So if you hit the L key on the keyboard, you will get your skill tree. And you have crafting, combat, and minor. Now the ones that you're going to be using primarily in the beginning is crafting, and this is pretty much what you're doing. You know, terraforming the ground, you're going to be building, you're going to be creating tools and things of that nature. So there's a lot that you're doing with these skills. And currently in this server, I maxed out my skill cap and I sped up the multiplier for leveling up, but down the road, once the developers release the MMO for this, that's going to be a lot slower. So for here, this is not a realistic speed. I sped it up for us, so there you have it. So I'm going to go to my inventory, and I'm going to right click on my clothing there. I'm going to left click on equip, and there you have it. I am now fully clothed, and I don't need to eat anything. You'll see that I kind of moved around my HUD system a little bit, but I have my health right here. For those who are new to this game, you have two different numbers here. One is just a health bar, general health bar, and the other one is actually the hard health, or similar to stamina. You have stamina and then you have hard stamina. And what that stands for is, so if I'm running around, you'll see the yellow bar, the first number is going down. 99, 98, 97, 96. So my stamina goes down as I run. But as I use that up, that actually uses up a tiny fraction of the hard stamina bar. So every time you drain your soft stamina, that takes off one on your hard stamina, and you have to stop and rest. Now, you'll find yourself doing a whole bunch of work that eats up your stamina. Your hard stamina goes down, you'll actually have to literally rest, and there's actually a button for it, and he completes an action item here. And because of the view I'm in, I can't really see him, but he's sitting down, relaxing, and I have to hit that button again just to get up and stop resting. So there's a lot of little things to keep in general mind when playing the game, and you'll learn them as you go. So don't freak out right away. I mean, you're probably going to run into some problems here and there, but that's okay. It's all part of the game. The first thing you probably want to work on are just some of the general functions, because if you right click anywhere on the map, you get a menu, but you find that, you know, hey, how do I build a building? Well, you're not going to be able to do it yet. You have to level up your skills before you can do all the fancy stuff. So in order to do that, you got to level up on basic functions such as gather wild plants. So, and of course I need a sickle to do that. I wouldn't gather wild plants anyway. Gather plant fiber, that's something I would definitely do. And you're going to be gathering a lot of plant fiber in this game. And plant fiber are one of the essential things that you need for your early tools. So like any game like Minecraft or anything else, you always need things like a pickaxe, axe, and sword and all that basic stuff. Well, you need several things. One, you need to walk up to some trees. and right click on the tree. You wait till that tree highlights, and then you're going to have to highlight it and take a look at your options here. Under forestry, I'm going to inspect the tree. By inspecting the tree, I get some information, and wow, I got lucky. I found one with a quality of 100. I don't think I've ever been lucky enough to run into 100 right away. But it tells us it has 10 bark, 20 branches, 15 apples, and 2 apple sprouts. And it's a major apple tree, meaning it's grown to its max. It's been chopped down 0 times. And this can be important information. So, especially quality. Quality in this game, everything in this game has quality. Even the dirt you stand on has a quality level. And whenever you take these natural resources that have a specific quality, then you yield certain quality items that you craft or cook or build, whatever. So your actual castle walls will have a certain quality to them, and that's depending on what quality materials you use to build it. So it is important that everything you revolve around is quality. Now, not so much at the beginning, because your skill levels are so low you can't do much with 100 quality stuff. But it's still helpful. So one thing I definitely want to do, I don't want to chop down this tree, I want to just keep this in mind and keep it here, is I'm going to snap off a branch. Why? Because branches are an essential item for building basic tools. I'm going to grab several, in fact. So by right-clicking on this, it creates it as a default action. So if I want to snap another branch, instead of right-clicking every time, now I can just simply left-click, and the default action is grabbing a branch. And I'm going to grab several branches. Okay, that's a good start right there. Now, I don't have everything needed to make some of these tools, but I will show you the menu anywho. So you right-click on your branch. Now, take note that each of these branches are scattered throughout my inventory. They can be stacked, but the reason why they are not currently stacked is as I level up, the quality branches changes. So this branch right here is a quality 1. I'm sorry, it's a quality 52. This branch is a quality 58. This branch is a quality 55, and so forth. Now, if I were to combine the 55 and the 52, now you see it stacked it into 2, but now the overall quality of that stack is 53. So I lose a quality 55 or whatever quality it was. I lose the higher quality branch by stacking them. So be careful when you stack items in your inventory. You don't want to lose high quality items when doing that. Granted, it does help you organize, but unfortunately it degrades quality in some cases. So right click on whatever branch you're wanting to use, and in many cases it'll be a high quality branch, but since I'm such a low level, it really does not matter. I'm just going to choose any of them. I'm going to create a primitive tool. And here's the menu where you can craft your basic stone tools. You got the primitive axe. The cooking pot you're not going to need right away, so I wouldn't worry about that, but it doesn't take much to make that. The crucible and stick, you're not going to need that until you build a furnace, so that's going to come down the road a little bit. Primitive cup, I've yet to find really any use for this, but you might. Developers are constantly changing things, and it just kind of bugs me sometimes that this is considered an official release when I really don't. It doesn't feel like an official release. It still feels alpha. Definitely an alpha in development, though. They're still building onto it, so it's nothing bad, but I kind of wish they didn't make that official. I mean, it was probably something along the lines that they had just planned for it, but then they just couldn't quite get there, so they had no choice but to release what they had and just build on top of that. But either way, they're still working on it, and they're going to release an MMO. Anyways, fishing pole if you need to get fish for food, knife, hammer, pickaxe, and saw, and of course, shovel, sickle, sling, sword. Now the sling is pretty much the first weapon that you can build, and in addition to the knife and axe. But those are mainly tools. But the sling is an actual just weapon in its own. And the sling is a ranged weapon, so this will help you get your ranged skills up. But you have to collect rocks for ammo, and this thing is a bit tricky to use, and I'll have to cover that in a different video. For now, we're just going to get some basic tools. The primitive shovel is what we really need. Primitive shovel, the axe, and the pickaxe and the axe are going to be very essential, and of course the hammer. But in order to have some of these tools, we're going to need flintstone. So we're going to go hunt for flintstone, and what you want to look for is sort of a rocky ground. Now, whether it's loose rock or not, it doesn't matter. Just any rocky ground will help you find some flint. And you can typically find them by the mountains. Now I'm going to hit the M key and find out where the heck I'm at. Oh, I'm way down at the south here. I am far away from everything, but I do know where some rock is. And I'm in the right direction. Oops. Hit the M key. That go away. Now, hitting the tab key is going to be very important. Tab switches me between looking around and moving the mouse around to operate the menu. So definitely get used to using that tab key. Here we go. Got some rocky ground over here. This is good. So I right click on this square where there's some rock, and for prospecting it'll give me an option for search for useful flintstone. So I'm going to search for flintstone. You won't always get it right away, but that's okay. As you level up, your success in finding things increase. So it always starts off slow, just like any average RPG. Now, currently the game does not have, I would say, major RGP elements as far as like storyline or quest or anything like that goes. There's none of that right now. I don't know if what all the MMO will have. I haven't really done very much reading on it, so we're just going to have to wait and see. But I have read they've been working on it, so it's not like they've forgotten their fans or anything. They're working around the clock. Alright, so I got several flintstone. You can see it shows all the stats of what I'm leveling up right here. So my prospecting has increased by 5 points to 42. And now just know that once you jump on an MMO, it will not go that fast. It's going to go probably up by not 5 points, but rather 0.002 or something like some ridiculous amount like that. So it takes a while to level up in this game. Alright, so let's create the primitive tool using one of the sticks. I'm going to create a shovel, because terraforming is going to be very vital skill to level up. Now, as I said before, depending what server you're on, you're probably not going to have the same skill cap. And if you're not going to have the same skill cap, then that means you're going to have to choose what skills you're going to level up. But whether or not you choose, terraforming, nature's lore, or whatever, you're still going to need a lot of these basic skills right here. So it's okay to level all these up. And you will have the option to level down on them if you need to move points from one point to another. But that's a lot of work. Alright, so I've made my shovel. And I need to equip it. Now, there's more than one way to do this. I can right click and left click equip. Or I can hit the T key and bring up my window here. You'll notice the clothing I put on is there. But you have the right and left back holster, and then you have the waist. So for these larger tools, you typically put them on your back. Alright, so I have now equipped my shovel, and I can do terraforming. Now, when you're carrying your heavy tools on your back or on your waist, your stamina is going to go down faster, and you're going to run slower. So it's not effective to wear these all the time if you're going to run great distances. And the other thing we need to keep in mind is, where are we going to B, where are we going to put our newfound village or town? So far, personally, my favorite location is over here by the lake, and for several reasons. One, you have multiple clay sources. Two, it's next to the mountain, so you have more than enough rock and granite to go around. Three, it's next to water and sand. And four, you have some nice clearings and plenty of trees. An apple tree is over here. There's plenty of mining resources around this lake. So this lake is a very popular location to build towns in. The best flat clearing is over here in the bottom right-hand corner. Or what some people do is build over here, but they might run back and forth for supplies. But I find it more efficient to be over here. However, just for demonstration's sakes today, I'm probably going to stick around in this area, maybe even go down here. But that's a long run for just clay. But then again, I have admin abilities. I can cheat just for the sakes of tutorial. Okay, so now that I have my terraforming tool, the shovel, I'm just going to test it right here. Right-click on the ground, and you're going to have a few options. You can only observe, which puts you in this weird screen mode, which I'll explain here in a little bit. I'm going to cancel out of that. And then you have raised ground level and lower ground level. So let me go back to observe mode. I'm going to right-click on this square, and I'm going to show you observe mode. Right now, in observe mode, it shows the surrounding squares and a bunch of numbers. What the heck do these numbers mean? Well, these numbers mean the how high it is above sea level. So the block I'm standing on is 37.6, or whatever measurements they're going to use in this game, above sea level. So, and then the next one is 38.1, and so forth. It keeps going higher, 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 higher elevation. So this is important because your buildings need to be on flat ground. So how are you going to flatten all this when you got 36.3 and 35.5? Well, simple. Lower the ground level here. So I'm going to probably choose the flattest area here. There really is no flat area. I guess I'll do 34. It's a nice even number. So I'm going to flatten some of this area over here. Now, as you level up your skills, you'll have abilities such as flatten ground. But for now, I have to lower it manually. So I'm going to cancel out of this. And I know I have to lower this block. So I'm going to lower ground level. And you will physically see the ground lower a little bit as soon as that bar goes across. But more importantly, the skill level goes up. So several things have happened. I've leveled up my terraforming a little bit. It's gone up to 23. And two, I collected some dirt. I hover my mouse over it, tells me it's fertile soil, which is important because fertile soil is used for your farming. And two, quality. As I said, the dirt you stand on has quality, and this quality affects the crops that you grow. So that's important. Now, since I'm not really ready yet for any farming, I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to get rid of it soon. But first I need to observe and see my progress. So it went from 34.5 down to 34.4. Let's bring that down some more, shall we? Ooh. So I'm going to go ahead and make this my default action because it's going to take several attempts. Probably 4 more. Alright, got 30 more soil. Still leveling up. Dig up some more fertile soil. See how far I am. Oh, one more dig and then I'm more level with 34. It doesn't appear so, but it is. Now notice after leveling up, I have more options. I now have the option for flattened ground with an upward slope, flattened ground with a downward slope, raised ground level, lower ground level, which I've always had. So you gain these extra abilities. Now I'm going to go ahead and lower ground level one more time so it can even out. And I now have 150 dirt. Now this dirt is going to increase the amount that I am lifting everywhere. So eventually I'm going to have to dump this dirt somewhere. Well, if I dump it here, it's just going to raise the ground level. So you got to find a place to put all this stuff. So it's nice to kind of have a place where you can pile whether it's dirt, rock, or iron that you mine. So I'm going to right click here. I could do raise ground level and that would use up the dirt in my inventory, or I can go to my inventory, right click, and just pour on the ground. And you'll see on the ground that it's dumping it. The texture's changed. Right click, pour ground. It becomes a dead weight. Curious if it maintains the quality a little bit. Alright. Well, I think that's a good start right there. I probably will not do much more terraforming at the moment. I will have to make another video. So you've started off by getting your tools, getting some terraforming done. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do one more thing before we leave. You're going to need to eat. You do have a hunger level here, so it's down to 85. You have a couple options here right away. One, you can run around and look for these apple trees. These apple trees are a good source of food right off the bat. You'll find yourself eating a lot of them. And it's under farming, gather apples. So you right click on an apple tree, go to farming, gather apples. And sure enough, I received 2 apples. Alright. So with 85, let's see the quality apple here I'm about to eat. Quality is 24. It's not that high, but hey, I'm going to eat it anyway. And a 24 quality apple just gave my hunger level up 7 points. So eating another one will get me near to 100. Now, off the 100 quality tree, I'm pretty sure I'll get better apples. So eventually, as you level up your farming skill, your forestry skill, you can eat some high quality apples and pretty much live on those throughout the entire game. But of course, there's plenty other foods that you can get. Now, if you are having trouble finding an apple tree, there's one more option. You can right click on the ground, go to Nature's Lore, and search for something edible. And what you're going to be looking for is taproot. So if you find taproot, you can eat taproot. And it looks like I didn't find anything. Taproot is sometimes a little difficult to find. And leveling up, you have a better chance of finding it. But right now, I'm not really finding anything. There we go. I received edible taproot. So I go to my inventory. The quality is 10. It's horrible, but you know what? It's something. Oh, I can't really eat it because I'm not hungry, but if you're having trouble finding apple trees, taproot is a good way to sort of save the day and give you a little bit longer chance to find an apple tree. But these apple trees are scattered kind of all over the place. You'll have to just walk through the forest and you'll find them. They're somewhat low to the ground. They kind of spread out a little like a gigantic bush. And of course you could physically see the apples hanging on the tree there. Nice flat texture. Not the best looking texture, but that's okay. And there's so many other things you can do in this game, so many other functions. It's a matter of leveling up, and it takes time. And as it says, the title of the game, Life is Feudal. It is a lot of work in this game, but it's definitely worth it, especially when you got a good group of friends that you're playing with on a server. You build your town, you can start fights with other towns, or at the very least negotiate for trade, because you'll find yourself doing a lot of work, and you'll find yourself saying, gosh, you know, I don't want to spend all this time doing this because I've already spent all my time doing that. Well, hey, if you have extra of that, then you can use that to trade. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. So yes, get this game. It's pretty much a ton of fun. I will show some more tutorial videos down the road on mining, logging, building some of your buildings, and of course we're going to get to furnaces, and that's when it's really going to start getting fun. So with that said, y'all come back now, you hear? Bye.